Hey folks, I'm back with part two. If you saw part one, we managed to get the old Recon running. Now I'm going to try to get the brakes figured out. The front brakes, it looks like this piston's seized up here in the master cylinder. It's not returning out to put any tension on the brake lever, and there's probably not any fluid in the system. I'll pull it off, see if we can get the fronts working. The back is a mechanical drum brake. So I've got to tear the whole rear end apart to fix it. It's inside of the rear end itself. So we'll see what we can get done. Well, I'm going to throw this in the ultrasonic, see if we can get the piston freed up. It looks like it's got some water in the fluid, and it's brown and kind of rusty in the bottom of it. So maybe the ultrasonic will clean it up some. Well, I ran it through the ultrasonic, but it looks like that piston's seized up in there. I tried moving it forward, and it's not springing back out at all. No doubt it's got corrosion or some sort of buildup on the inside of it. I'm going to try to pull this seal out. Dust seal, whatever. See if I can get to it, but it looks like I may have to just get a new unit. So there's what we're dealing with. You can see the corrosion where the snap ring was, and that piston's pushed all the way back. Well, I've tried to get this piston out. I just can't do it. I thought I had a grease zerk that might fit in here. I don't have any metrics. I thought maybe I could pressurize it and get it moving a little bit. But this thing has so much grime and corrosion in it that I think I'm just better off buying a new one. These are pretty cheap. I would prefer to fix it rather than buy one, a replacement. But in this case, I don't think it's worth fighting it. I'll just get a replacement, throw it on, move on to the back brakes.
Is this part of the well? Yes, he does. It's got the brakes up there. Close enough.
got any meat left?
Yeah, brakes look good. Good. This one's a little. Well, no, the damn shoe come off. The brakes aren't good. There's the shoe.
Delamination. Stuck in the drum.
They were good brakes.
Yeah. Too much corrosion. Corrosion on the aluminum. Got in between the aluminum and the pad and rust jacked it. Yeah, it looks like we got corrosion in between the aluminum bracket and the pad, and it rust jacked it, and the pad came off and seized into the drum, so need a new set of pads. Okay, I've got the brake drum and the brake shoe assembly on the bench here. The drum needs cleaned up. It's pretty crusty in there. I'm going to get that cleaned up, and I have new brake shoes, and I also have a seal and bearing kit for it, so I'm going to go ahead and replace this seal so we don't get any more moisture in here and seize up the brakes again, and I'll probably just change out the bearing while I'm at it. I'm not sure that it's really bad, but I think I'll change it while I have it apart. So go ahead and see if we can get this cleaned up. There's a lot of material left where that pad was stuck here on the drum, so I'm going to need more abrasive means than just steel wool, it looks like. Okay, I think that drum cleaned up pretty good. Move on to the shoe assembly. You can see here this one friction material delaminated. It's still on here, but we've got new shoes, so we'll get those replaced. Okay, I got the seal out. Put up a bit of a fight. Okay, we've got the drum reinstalled, we've got the brake shoes, the brake panel, new bearing, new seal, inner and outer seal. Now I've got that tightened down. We put a new O-ring on it. The housing, I think what we've got left is the thrust washer and then spring washer. I'll get these cleaned up, put them on. Okay, now our axle nut. Had to load these threads up with anti-seize so I don't have to deal with that anymore if we ever have to get back in there. The service manual calls for 29 foot-pounds of torque on this axle nut. I just snugged it up. Felt like as close as I could get it with the crescent wrench. I don't have an adapter to get a torque wrench in there. Just put some light, enough pressure on it to hold it in place, but not be too tight on the bearing. So hopefully that does it. And the jam nut calls for 95 foot-pounds, so.
That's it.
Okay, just about have everything buttoned up now. I got the brakes adjusted right finally. Took a little bit of trial and error, but I think they're good. Spins freely till the brakes are applied. I got the axle nut tightened down and then the jam nut, and I ended up making a cutout to fit over the axle nut because we couldn't get a wrench in here on it without covering part of the jam nut. So you have to hold this one in place so you tighten the jam nut. So I fabric cobbled one together enough to hold it and got this one tightened down good. It's service manual calls for 94 foot-pounds. I just got it tight, so I don't think there's going to be any problems there. It's getting late. I'm going to call her a night. I'll come back tomorrow, put the wheel hub and the wheel on, air up the tires, and then move on to the next part. So.
Okay, there we go. So, I've got the rear brakes fixed and adjusted. The rear ends put back together. I've got the carb, the air cleaner, all that put back together now. The only thing I have left to do is work on the front brakes and get the front end all reassembled. I think what I'm going to do is fire this up, take it for a little ride. I'm going to clean up the front brakes because they're really muddy. And then I'll bring it back, reinstall new master cylinder, bleed them, make sure they work, and go from there. But I think I need to get them cleaned up before I can really get in there and do any bleeding on them. So we'll try to get the seat put back on, see if we can get it fired up. Like the back brakes work all right. Not too bad. Running pretty good. Okay, I ended up buying a new master cylinder here. The other one was too far gone to really salvage. This one's not an exact replica of the original. It's slightly larger for the reservoir, but I think all the critical parts of it are still the same. So I'm going to go ahead and install that, tighten it down. We'll put some fluid in it, and try to bleed the brakes and see if we can get the fronts to work without taking them all apart. So.
That feels good.
I actually think the brakes are all right for now. They seem to be pretty close in adjustment. I think I'll put it back together and ride it around for a little bit and see if they need bled, but as of now they actually feel to be pretty good shape. So Well, the front brakes work good. Well, there it is. I got it all back together now. I've taken it out for a test run, ran it around a little bit. It's running great, actually. I'm kind of surprised how good it runs. I got the oil changed in it, got all the plastic hooked back up. I think it's pretty much done. So we did quite a bit of work to it. Runs good now, really needs a new seat, but headlights are working, high and low beams, needs new tires, but brakes are working and it's running good. So anyway, thanks for watching.